Today, we are going to talk about being women of influence. And it's funny because I think, certain words are like trigger words.
Yeah.
Influence is a little bit of a trigger word for me. And I was trying to I woke up early this morning knowing we were going to be having this conversation. And that's usually what the Lord will do. I'm like, could you just talk to me at 11 a.m. or even noon? But he'll wake me up at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is that word kind of a trigger word? And I think it's because sometimes what we see in our culture are people that are seeking to be an influencer. That's actually even a thing.
It's
It's like a thing. Like, oh, I'm an influencer. That's like your full-time job.
Yeah.
That's your career.
Right.
And so I think that word's a bit of a trigger for me. And so I just was like, Lord, what is it about that I'm having a struggle with? I'm going to just start by reading this scripture from John. Sorry, I need my glasses. From John 15, 16. The words of Jesus said, "You didn't choose me. I chose you. I appointed you to go and produce lasting fruit so that the Father will give you whatever you ask for using my name. This is my command. Love each other." And when I think about, okay, you didn't choose me, I chose you and I appointed you to go. I appointed you to go. I'm remembering, so when I decided to move to Nashville and pursue like a full-time music career, I was in my early 20s, and I told my parents, hey, I'm moving to Nashville. And it was at that time that they sat me down and said, hey, we want to tell you a story of something that happened when your mom was pregnant with you. And I'm like, wait, you've never told me this in my life. And I'm like 23. They're like, so I'm the youngest of 5 kids. And when my mom found out she was pregnant with me, she was freaking out because she didn't want any more children. She didn't want more than 3. And then she got 4th. And then she was pregnant with a 5th. And she was like, no. So she hadn't told anybody. She found out she was pregnant on a Friday. She hadn't told anyone that she was pregnant. And she was a Sunday school teacher for the 3rd grade at church. And that Sunday, she went in to teach her 3rd grade Sunday school class. And a mom walked up to her, again, she hadn't told anyone, and said, we want you to know, I know that you're overwhelmed, but the Lord wants you to know that the child you're carrying is going to be a voice to the nations.
Oh, my goodness.
And they tucked that away in their heart, and they kept it. And they didn't tell me that until they knew that I wanted to move. And I think, number one, that's just wisdom on my parents' part, that they didn't put this prophetic word over my head.
Right.
But as I was thinking about it, the Lord chose to give me a voice. He was choosing to place me in, the path that's like, I'm gonna put you there. Yeah. But what I do once I get there is up to me, right? Like what I do with power or position or influence. And I think maybe that for me was one of the things about that word. Like, okay, the Lord's gonna take you there. He's gonna put you there. But what you do is what's gonna really matter. That's where the influence comes from. And I think our culture sometimes gets the words position and influence twisted, right? They think, okay, they're seeking after position. They're looking like, okay, because position flexes power muscle, right? Position flexes power, but influence flexes vision. I think sometimes the way our culture values position is that people look at those of us in this circle and they go, oh, well, obviously you have influence. Because then how do I get that? How do I get that? And in fact, you're not seeking influence, you're seeking position. You're seeking power, where actually the position and the powers, that's just position's just like a location. That's just where you are. But what you do with it is your influence. And influence isn't seeking to do something for me. Influence is seeking to do something for others. That is his greatest command. At the end of all of that, I'm gonna choose you and I'm gonna place you and I'm gonna put you in that spot, but this is why. When I return to that word that was spoken over my life in the womb, it wasn't so that I could then take that and go become a star. And I think human nature is a funny thing because we actually, this isn't just something you're looking at in the world. We elevate the fact that Christian star even goes in the same sentence, right? But yet at the same time, we can all say that. Yet, it's funny, Lisa, because you said with false humility, I have to check my own heart all the time.
Amen.
Like, are you
Every
just
day.
saying this because it's what sounds good?
Yeah.
But do you actually mean it?
Right.
Like, do you mean
Yeah,
it, or are you actually? And I don't always. With full confession, I don't always.
Absolutely.
Like, one of my greatest regrets is back when I was, starting to have success. And I remembered I'd won like Female Vocalist of the Year for like the first couple of times. And there was a new female artist. I can't believe I'm admitting this right now on television.
No, go.
There was a new
Somebody
female
needs to hear
artist
it.
and she was really good. And she came to my house to write a song with my husband, and I was a wretch. I wish I could say I was kind and welcoming. And at the moment, I didn't even know why I was having such a problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, because you're jealous, one, and two, you're trying to hold on to whatever it is. Like, you're trying to grasp at whatever success. And the thing is I actually had to deal with that demon in my own heart and mind. And it's not a one-time deal. It's like sometimes a regular thing where I'm like, you gotta lay yourself down.
Absolutely.
Because just in and of my flesh, I'm gonna get in my own way all the time. And I'm gonna be able to say something that sounds really good, but it doesn't mean that my heart is living that
on a
thing.
stage for 15
Yes.
minutes.
And it doesn't mean my heart is living that all the time.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload.
And don't forget to check out our Better Together shop. Thanks for being a part of our community.